All right, let's be honest. The idea of hatred between countries is a bit strong. It's not like these nations are at each other's throats with pitchforks and torches. No, it's more nuanced than that. It's more like a simmering pot of resentment seasoned with historical grievances and a dash of economic rivalry. Imagine a stew that's been cooking for centuries, with each generation adding its own unique flavor of discontent. But hey, who are we to judge? We're just here to stir the pot gently with a very long spoon. We're not chefs, just curious onlookers trying to understand the recipe. Before we dive into the delicious drama of Europe's least favorite nations, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room, or rather the union in the continent. The European Union, that grand experiment in unity and cooperation, isn't exactly universally beloved. The European Union, that grand experiment in unity and cooperation, isn't exactly universally beloved. It's like a family reunion where not everyone gets along, but they all show up. Because, well, they have to. In fact, some European countries seem to have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the whole idea. Take France, for example. The French are known for their passion, whether it's for food, art, or politics. Take France, for example. A 2019 Pew Research Center survey revealed that a whopping 47% of the French population had an unfavorable view of the EU. And they're not alone. This sentiment isn't just a fleeting trend, it's deeply rooted in the national psyche. Russia, never one to miss out on a good geopolitical squabble, came in a close second with a 44% disapproval rating. Russia's relationship with Europe has always been complex, filled with a mix of admiration, rivalry, and outright hostility. So, clearly, even within the United Europe, there are some cracks in the facade. These cracks aren't just political, they're cultural, economic, and historical. They run deep and are often invisible to the casual observer. And that, my friends, is where things get interesting. The European Union is like a grand stage where each country plays its part, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes discordantly. It's a complex dance of diplomacy, economics, and culture. The European Parliament is a microcosm of this complexity. Politicians from different countries, each with their own agendas and priorities, come together to debate and decide on policies that affect the entire continent. It's a high-stakes game of negotiation and compromise. History has shown us that Europe is no stranger to conflict. From the Hundred Years' War to the World Wars, the continent has been a battleground for power and influence. But it's also been a place of reconciliation and peace-building. Today, Europe is a melting pot of cultures and traditions. People from different backgrounds live and work together, creating a rich tapestry of diversity. This cultural exchange is one of the EU's greatest strengths, even if it sometimes leads to friction. The younger generation in Europe is particularly vocal about their views. They are more connected and informed than ever before, thanks to social media and the internet. They are not afraid to challenge the status quo and demand change. European leaders are constantly navigating this complex landscape. They have to balance national interest with the collective good, a task that is easier said than done. Every decision is a tightrope walk with potential repercussions for millions of people. Despite the challenges, there is a lot to be hopeful about. Europe is making strides in areas like sustainability, human rights, and technological innovation. These efforts are paving the way for a brighter future, even if the path is sometimes rocky. So, Europe, you've got some explaining to do, but you also have a lot to be proud of. The journey towards unity and cooperation is a long and winding road, but it's one worth traveling. After all, it's the bumps and turns that make the ride interesting. And there you have it, folks. Europe's story is far from over, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Stay tuned for more delicious drama and intriguing tales from the continent that never ceases to amaze. First up, we have Switzerland. Now you might be thinking, Switzerland, the land of chocolate, cheese, and suspiciously efficient public transportation. What's not to love? And you wouldn't be entirely wrong. But even Switzerland, with its pristine alpine meadows and fondness for neutrality, has its detractors. See, Switzerland has this long-standing tradition of, well, not taking sides. They're like that friend who always manages to stay out of the drama, even when it's glaringly obvious they should pick a side. And while that might seem admirable at first, it's rubbed some countries the wrong way, particularly those who've been on the receiving end of, shall we say, less than neutral behavior in the past. Take World War II, for example. Switzerland, despite being surrounded by Axis powers, managed to maintain its neutrality. Now, before you go praising their diplomatic prowess, keep in mind that this neutrality also involved, continuing to do business with Nazi Germany. And then there's the whole not being part of the European Union thing. Switzerland, you see, is perfectly content to reap the benefits of being nestled within the EU's loving embrace without actually, committing to the whole relationship thing. It's like that friend who crashes on your couch for a year, eats all your food, and then acts surprised when you ask them to chip in for rent. So yeah, Switzerland might be a beautiful and efficient country, but its neutrality, both political and in terms of EU membership, has definitely ruffled some feathers. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into the Swiss way of life. The Swiss are known for their high quality of life, with excellent healthcare, education and public services. Their cities are clean, their trains run on time, and their chocolate is, well, legendary. But there's more to Switzerland than just the surface-level perks. The country is also a hub of innovation and technology. Swiss companies are at the forefront of various industries, from pharmaceuticals to finance. Speaking of finance, Switzerland's banking sector is world-renowned. Swiss banks are synonymous with security and discretion, attracting clients from all over the globe. However, this reputation hasn't come without controversy. The country's banking secrecy laws have been criticized for enabling tax evasion and money laundering. Over the years, Switzerland has faced pressure from other nations to reform these laws and increase transparency. On the political front, Switzerland's system of direct democracy is quite unique. Citizens have a direct say in the country's laws and policies through frequent referendums. This level of public participation is rare and often admired. Despite its small size, Switzerland plays a significant role in international diplomacy. The country hosts numerous international organizations, including the United Nations in Geneva. Its commitment to neutrality allows it to act as a mediator in global conflicts. Switzerland is also known for its humanitarian efforts. The Swiss Red Cross and other aid organizations are active worldwide, providing assistance in times of crisis. Culturally, Switzerland is a melting pot of influences. The country has 4 official languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. This linguistic diversity is reflected in its rich cultural traditions and festivals. And let's not forget the food. Swiss cuisine is hearty and delicious, with dishes like fondue and raclette being popular favorites. These meals are not just about the food, but also about the communal experience of sharing and enjoying together. For those who love the outdoors, Switzerland is a paradise. The Swiss Alps offer some of the best skiing and hiking in the world. The country's natural beauty is a major draw for tourists and locals alike. Switzerland is also a leader in environmental sustainability. The country has made significant strides in renewable energy and conservation efforts. Its commitment to preserving its natural landscapes is evident in its policies and practices. Innovation extends to transportation as well. Switzerland's public transit system is one of the most efficient and eco-friendly in the world. Electric trains and buses are common, reducing the country's carbon footprint. The education system in Switzerland is top-notch, with world-class universities and research institutions. The country attracts students and academics from around the globe, contributing to its reputation as a center of knowledge and innovation. Overall, the Swiss lifestyle is one of balance. The Swiss value their work-life balance, ensuring they have time to enjoy leisure activities and spend with family and friends. This balanced approach contributes to their high quality of life. So, while Switzerland's neutrality might be a point of contention for some, it's clear that the country has much to offer. From its high quality of life to its role in international diplomacy, Switzerland continues to be a unique and influential player on the global stage. In the end, Switzerland's neutrality, efficiency and beauty make it a fascinating country to explore and understand. Whether you admire or criticize its stance, there's no denying that Switzerland has carved out a distinctive place in the world. So, there you have it, the top 10 most, shall we say, misunderstood countries in Europe. Each of these nations carries with it a unique blend of history, culture, and yes, a few quirks that make them stand out in the eyes of their neighbours in the world. From the rolling hills of Ireland to the sun-kissed beaches of Greece, every country has its own story to tell. Often misunderstood, but always intriguing. Of course, this is all in good fun. And it's important to remember that these are just perceptions, often based on historical baggage and a healthy dose of stereotype. These stereotypes can be amusing, but they can also obscure the true beauty and complexity of these nations. For instance, while the French might be known for their culinary snobbery, they're also incredibly passionate about their art and culture. Similarly, the British might have a reputation for being reserved, but they are also known for their dry wit and sense of humor. The reality is that Europe is a complex and fascinating continent with a rich tapestry of cultures, histories, and, yes, even rivalries. These rivalries, often rooted in centuries-old conflicts, have shaped the identities of these nations in profound ways. Yet despite these differences, there is a deep-seated respect and admiration that Europeans have for one another. This is evident in the way they celebrate each other's festivals, share culinary traditions, and even poke fun at each other's idiosyncrasies. But beneath it all, there's a shared sense of identity, a recognition that despite their differences, these nations are bound together by geography, history, and a whole lot of really good food. The European Union, for all its challenges, is a testament to this unity. It represents a collective effort to move beyond past conflicts and work towards a common future. This sense of unity is also reflected in the everyday interactions of Europeans, whether it's a German and a Frenchman sharing a beer or an Italian and a Spaniard debating the best way to make pasta. So, the next time you find yourself tempted to judge a European country based on its reputation, remember that there's always more to the story. Take the time to explore these countries for yourself, to meet the people, and to experience their cultures firsthand. You might be surprised at what you discover. The warmth and hospitality of the locals, the breathtaking landscapes, and the rich history that permeates every corner of the continent are just a few of the many reasons to look beyond the stereotypes. And who knows, you might even discover that your least favorite European nation is actually your new favorite travel destination. Whether it's the charm of a small village in Portugal, the vibrant nightlife of Berlin, or the serene beauty of the Swiss Alps, Europe has something to offer everyone. Each country, with its unique blend of old-world charm and modern innovation, invites you to explore and to fall in love with its many facets. Just maybe steer clear of discussing World War II, especially if you're in Switzerland. While the Swiss are known for their neutrality and diplomacy, it's always best to tread lightly when it comes to sensitive, historical topics. Instead, focus on the present and the future, and you'll find that Europe is a continent full of surprises, ready to welcome you with open arms and a hearty meal.